Anniewiborg. Good to see you. There we go. Get in there. Have fun.
It had been a long, hot drive pulling our little camper across the state of Michigan. We were on the third day of a bucket list trip that we had saved for retirement. But the first 2 days had not gone well because though we had camped on the beautiful Keweenaw Peninsula of western Michigan, it turned out that the campground had been located just downwind of a sewage treatment plant. And the wind never stopped blowing. And I have to say it was kind of a shitty way to start a dream vacation, but that is all behind us now, as are these very lame puns. Now we were on the other side of the state, pulling into Michigan's largest campground, and we noticed that though the space was vast, we were one of only a handful of campers. And within minutes of stepping out of the truck, we knew why when a cloud of mosquitoes descended on us. Now, we're from Minnesota. We know about mosquitoes, but this was unlike anything we had ever experienced. And the dog did a stop, drop, and roll, but it looked like she had grown an extra layer of fur. We could not stay there. The nearest motel was 40 miles away, but the woman on the other end of the line assured us they had one dog-friendly room left that they'd hold for us. But when we pulled into the parking lot, our hearts sunk because this motel was long in tooth, short on charm, and in the middle of nowhere. The next day, I stopped at the front desk to ask a question, and the woman behind it said the following to me. "You are the people in room 205, and housekeeping tells me you have a dog in there. And that is not a dog-friendly room. We're going to let you stay there tonight, but if you ever come back to this motel, you need to know that you can't stay in that room with a dog." Now, that was a lot of crazy to unpack because the woman saying those words to us was both the person I had spoken to on the phone the night before and the woman who had checked us in to room 205 while we stood at the desk with our dog. But I decided to just look her in the eye, and I assured her that if we were ever in bumfuck Michigan again, we wouldn't try to stay in room 205. The next day, with the Bates Motel getting smaller in our rearview mirror, we were laughing. And we were looking forward to crossing over to Canada soon. But when we did, we found out that though Canada has strong gun control laws and universal health care, they've got no leg up on the good old USA when it comes to mosquito control. In fact, if anything, those socialist mosquitoes seemed extra pissed. And they tortured us at every campground we stayed in as we made our way around the lake. And I think I forgot to say that our bucket list trip was to go around the entire perimeter of Lake Superior. That's sometimes called the Circle Tour. And so on that day when we finally turned south to head into Minnesota, we were relieved to know that we had a one-night stay at a sweet little studio apartment built above a carriage house. And when we pulled up, we gathered up what we needed for the night so we could make one run through the mosquito gauntlet. And the space inside was comfortable and inviting, but we found ourselves eating dinner in silence that night, except for the gentle tap, tap, tap of mosquitoes landing on the outside of the window with their lying little faces saying, "Let us in, we just want to talk." The next day, we waved the white flag of surrender and decided to cancel our last camping trip and a reservation and drive straight home that day. Well, what was the chance, we wondered, that a trip we had talked about for 30 years would coincide with a once-in-a-lifetime mosquito infestation, and that a campground could feature a beautiful view and a horrific stench? And that we had to stay 2 nights in a motel so run down and creepy it could have been a set on a Twilight Zone episode. That trip had been a disaster. But as we talked, we realized that despite everything, we had enjoyed being together. In fact, we had loved being together. And we had always been able to make each other laugh. And that was the moment we did a reset. Because a trip that has no shortage of love and laughing is not a disaster. And we decided that in its own way, that trip had actually been kind of great. Now, we are going to do the circle tour again. And for old time's sake, we might go back to the Bates Motel. And if we do, just for fun, we're going to ask for room 205. And then we're going to sneak our dog in through the back door. Thank you.
Keep it going for Anniewiborg. And Annie is correct. I did have her pull this. I'm going to...